officials and policies, laws and governance issues that impacts the people of Anambra State, especially as it relates to us as a state. And today we turn our focus to a very crucial piece of legislation, and that is the Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025. Because this law is designed to enhance the safety and the security of our state, addressing key areas such as community policing, intelligence gathering, and the roles of security agencies in crime prevention. And to help us unpack its key provisions and implications for Anambra today, we have two distinguished guests in the studio. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Anambra State, is here with us today. We welcome Professor Sylvia Ifemeje to ABS. Good afternoon, Prof. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you.
I'm happy to be here too.
Ọ dị mma anyị na-anabatakwazị n'uso onye nke nwanya bụ ihe mmemme anyị na-eme tata n'onwe ya bụ Honourable High Chief Law Mefo PhD onye bụ Commissioner na-afụ maka ozi na Anambra State. Anyị na-asị nya nnọọ na ihe mmemme tata.
Daalụ. Dị Anambra ekenekwa m unu. Nke onye chi ya zelụnụ. Unu ma na n'ọdụ ka esi ama ife dị nkịta mma n'obi. Okwe?
Exactly.
Ukpokobu ndị chile ya. Ka tata malụ na anyị mmanụ.
See?
Daalụ.
All right, and just like we earlier pointed out, this program is Ask the Commissioner. On today's edition of the program, on our hot seat, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. What she's saying, we're going to know if the seat is burning her or if she has the ability to quench the fire on the seat. We'd like to start this way. Professor Ifemeje, we would like to, have an overview of the achievements, challenges, and everything with regards to the Ministry of Justice under Governor Chukwuma Soludo administration in the past years.
Yeah, thank you very much. We came on board in 2022. It has been quite challenging. Manandi Igbo tụrụ inu si na mbelede nyere dike, mana mbelede ka ejikwa ma dike.
Exactly.
So, and personally, I like challenges. When I came on board, I noticed that I needed to introduce many innovative ideas in the Ministry of Justice. So many things to be done. The first project I embarked on is the deployment of a virtual hearing facility in our high courts and the correctional service centers. I noticed we had congestion of the correctional service centers, and at times for logistic reasons it was very difficult taking the inmates to the courts for their cases to be heard. And of course you know that justice delayed is justice denied. So I had to think outside the box, and there was a humongous insecurity at that time we came on board. So I came up with this idea, and we engaged the state government. Mr. Governor is a lawyer-friendly governor, and has always from the onset said he advocated for expeditious dispensation of justice. And I got the approval, and we installed this virtual hearing facility in the 4 correctional centers in the state and the 31 high courts halls in the state. And that means that from the correctional service, the days is not possible to bring the inmates to the courts. The trials can go on. The trial will go on. The judges, the lawyers will stay in the court premises while the inmates will be there at the correctional service centers, and their cases will be going on. And that will enhance the expeditious dispensation of justice, which is one of the manifesto promises of Mr. Governor. All the gadgets, technology have been installed in all the high courts. That was the first thing we did. Then we've done quite a lot. Right now, you know that very soon, but before the end of March, we have put off we are coming up with 4 residential quarters of judges in order to enable the employment of more judges to enhance the expeditious dispensation of justice. And 6 high court halls will be completed before the end of March. And apart from that, we've passed, at least as of today, we have passed 18 laws since the inception of this administration. There are many. If I start calling them now, we may not finish up, but one of them is just the Homeland Security Law 2025. That's the latest. Many of them, health facility monitoring law, revenue administration law, environmental law, drug trafficking in persons law, anti-touting law, just to mention this few. And I noticed the state of our outstations, Ministry of Justice, was in a very deplorable condition. It was not conducive for my staff to work, and I presented an ESCO memo, and the ESCO approved the renovation of our 4 our 4 stations in the state, which is at Onitsha, Nnewi, Otuocha, the public defender. So they are now very conducive for working conditions, and as I'm talking to you, more than 35 ACs were installed. Apart from that, another innovation, I think, we installed law pavilion. We noticed that the lawyers work with law reports, and we had to install law pavilion. With that, our state councils, while going to court, are able to have the most recent authorities that they will cite in order to defend the state effectively. We've bought vehicles for judges, I think about 11 vehicles for the judges that are due for their vehicles to be changed. The state government was able to change it for them. We have solar installation in all the correctional centers in the states. Solar energy installation for them, for their so that they could have a steady power supply. In all the high courts of the states, we have solar installation in order to enable the judges to work in a very conducive atmosphere. And even in their homes, because the judges don't stop working in the courts. When they get home, they have to write rulings, they have to write judgments. And so Mr. Governor was magnanimous enough to approve the installation of solar energy in all the residential quarters of all the judges in the state. This is just to mention. And then we established specialized courts for SGBV cases, sex and gender-based violence cases. With this, the cases are moving without any obstruction whatsoever. In the past, you find out that when the regular courts were handling these SGBV cases, it was a lot of, it was very frustrating for complainants. They will come to the court at the end of the day, their matter may not be heard. But with these SGBV courts, both at the magisterial level and the high court levels, things are moving, justice are gotten on time. And personally, I established the SGBV unit in the minutes under the department, under the Attorney General's office, headed by me. I head the prosecution of SGBV cases, and I appear personally in courts because I noticed the, overwhelming rate of defilement of the girl child. It's quite alarming. If you get 20 files in a day, 10 must be on defilement. And I just decided to take it upon myself to lead in the prosecution because we have zero tolerance for such in the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Sorry,
okay.
Before I forget, the major milestone is the full automation of the justice sector. We are going to be the first state in Nigeria to have end-to-end full automation of the justice sector. What it means is that you no longer go paperless justice sector. You file your court process online. It is assigned to you online. The judgment is given online. When the judgment itself, you don't have to wait for the judgment before you go on appeal. Immediately the judgment is delivered. There's verbatim reporting. The training is going on, and we believe God that before the end of May, would have succeeded in achieving that feat in Nigeria as the first state to achieve that end-to-end full automation in all the courts, not partial. Some states have had partial automation, that is some courts, but this one we are capturing all the courts in the state. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, daalụ maka nya bụ azịza gị. Achọrọ m ka anyị neba anya na Anambra Homeland Security Law, especially for the year 2025, because anyị chọrọ ka anyị mata ife ọ bụ and kedu ka ọ ga-esi wee kwalite ijikọta aka ọnụ na mmekọrịta n'etiti otu ọrụ nchekwa nakwazi obodo dị iche iche ha ga-anọ a na-alụ ọrụ n'ime ya.
Anyị n'anya for some time now, ebe n'ebe egburu na steeti ọ dịzị aka chọrọ ịchụpụ ya achụpụ, but Chineke ekwero. And as I said, ka anyị na-ebido program a sị na mberede nyere dike mana mberede ka eji ama dike. So gọvanọ anyị bụkwa odogwu, ọ notizi onye ọbịa chọpụta ka ife si wee kwụrụ. So bidonu a na-akpọ you strategize and you re-strategize. We brainstormed. We kept thinking outside the box, you know. You don't, you fall, you may fall, but you don't remain where you fall. You continue until you get it right. And I think the state government has gotten it right as far as the security challenges is concerned. So I will put this law, Anambra State Homeland Security Law 2025. Okay, in the House of Assembly, law now. So for Potalbona, the House of Assembly here, Governor aka na akwụkwọ nye authorize ya feeling needed na the law all for the security ka onye na-abụla ka o ji onwuchi anya na-abụla ụlọ ọfụma abụọ ị na-aga n'ụzọ ị na-aga anya n'azụ so onye kpatalụ the state government ji wepụta this Anambra State Home Security Law for the protection and security of the state.
Okay. All right, we're still moving on. Just to remind you that this is still Ask the Commissioner coming your way on ABS 88.5 FM. And today we have Professor Sylvia Ifemeje, the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Anambra State. And we also have a very own Commissioner, High Chief Dr. Lomefo, the Commissioner for Information. And our focal point of discussion today on the program is on the Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025. 8 key provisions. Okay, Prof, we'd like you to provide us specific details on how this Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025 will enhance collaboration between security agencies and local communities. How will this law help this collaboration between the security agencies like the Operation Udogachi and Aguna Chamber and other security outfits that have been set up to fight insecurity? How can they do this? How can this collaboration work with the local communities?
Yes, you notice before now, the police as a security agent was there. It has always been there. But then you notice that things weren't really going the way we wanted it to be, and we felt we should think outside the box and come up with something that will stand the test of time. Now, this Homeland Security Law 2025 is aimed at not doing away with Nigeria. Of course, we can't do away with Nigerian police, but to assist. If you look at Section 4 of that law, it makes provision it provides for the functions of Agune Chamber, that is the new security outfit, which was established by Section 3 of the law. The Section 3 provides that you have Agune Chamber units at the community level, you have them at the local government level and the central state level. So the structure is there and highly organized, you know, and there's a synergy. They work hand in hand in order to ensure that security is restored in the state. And if you look at Section 4 of that law, it provides that the functions of the Agune Chamber unit is to assist the police in detecting and protecting the society from crimes, reporting criminal activities in the environment, protection of property, of the members of the society, you know, arresting criminals and handing them over to the police. So you see, it's not as if the Agune chamber has come to kind of rub shoulders with the police, but they're supposed to synergize and collaborate. All we're interested in is seeing that we stamp out criminality in the state. So we have the inbuilt mechanism in this law to ensure that there is a synergy, both at the state level, the local government level, the community level, even between local governments, even between communities, to ensure that everything works smoothly. And you agree with me that the law is already yielding the desired dividend outcome. Things are now working out as it should be. So I don't anticipate that there's going to be any friction between the police and Agune Chamber or any other existing vigilante group. There will be a synergy, and you have the central body, security body at the state level that will be monitoring and ensuring that there is synergy between the security outfits in the state.
Okay.
What of, because I'm a this Homeland, Anambra State Homeland Security Law, and now Ajuma Ogenyukwa in terms of intelligence sharing among the security and likewise accountability, because now the men tend now all of an. So do you believe that that law can also help?
Yes, if you look at Section 13 of that law, it provides that the President Generals must make monthly returns of the activities, criminal activities in their environment, their communities, to the mayor, and then send a copy to the commander, the Homeland Security that is in charge of security in the state. So with that, apart from that, Section 13 also provides that the reports would include the criminal activities noticed in the environment, any land that the PG feels is being used for kidnapping. Purposes, you know, new people that came into the environment, into the community. You should provide, you should be able to get their ID identification, valid identification cards, you know. Then also give monthly reports of the security situation in the town. Yes. So with this, I think again with synergy, again with reports, a kind of monitoring from the grassroots, which is the communities, the towns, the local government, the mayor, and it goes up. The structure is already laid out there, and it's a good structure that will work out well. It's a well thought out structure.
Okay. All right, Prof. So are there mechanisms that have been put in place to ensure accountability of this Homeland Security Law? Because sometimes the problem with enacting laws is the problem of responsibility and accountability. So are there mechanisms in place to ensure that there is accountability with regards to the provisions of the Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025?
Yes, as I said earlier, that we have inbuilt mechanism in the law. You find that, as I said, you have the security outfit at the state level. They employ the members of Agune Chamber that work at the state level, and some of them will be deployed to the local governments. At the local, then you have the Anambra State Security Supervisory Committee, which is made up of the governor or his representative, the Homeland Commissioner, the SPAD on security, the chairman from House of Assembly chairman on Security Committee, the mayors and the Commissioner of Police, a representative of the DSS, a representative of the Civil Defense. The secretary of the committee, I think, is a lawyer from the Ministry of Justice, will also be a member, and the mayors, and so on and so forth, you know. So they recruit at the state level the Agune Chamber members, and then ensure their remuneration, how they work, supervisory role, be sure that everything works out well. Then, and they don't go beyond their duty, you know. when you arrest, when the Agune Chamber member arrests a criminal, he's supposed to turn him over to the police. They are not authorized to start maltreating or killing. That is not part of their mandate. They are to complement the efforts of the police by making arrests and then, as soon as possible, hand them over to the police. If you look at section 4 spells out the functions of Agune Chamber in it, and section 5, I think, provides for the powers of Agune Chamber. They have the power to carry out what do you call? They have the power to continue monitoring the environment to ensure that the criminal elements are not allowed to overwhelm the occupants or the members of the society. And then when they are pursuing a criminal and the criminal runs into any compound, they have the power to enter into the compound and embark on search and make arrests. Then in the community level, at local government level, you have the same a replication of what you have at the state government level. At the local government level, it's called local government supervisory committee, security supervisory committee. And it is headed by the mayor. It's made up the PGs are members, the DPO, and the commander of security in the local government, and the members, the leader of Congress of Councillors is also a member there, you know. So they also monitor the activities of Agune Chamber security outfit at the local government level. Then at the community level, you also have them there. This time around, the community level is called town management and finance security management and finance committee. It's made up of the traditional ruler, who is the patron, who is the patron. Then it's made up of the PG, and then it's made up of well-to-do members of the society with integrity, who have the financial muscle or capacity to help in monitoring, making sure that the security outfit, Agune Chamber outfit in the towns work out. And then they have, I think, section 11 provides for the establishment of operations committee, security committee. These are the actual people that enforce the security in the towns, and is usually headed by the PG. Yeah. And to ensure, so you find that there's already a well cut out system in the law mechanism that will enable that everything works out, and there's a synergy between the towns, neighboring towns, the local government, neighboring local governments, and the state level.
Okay, all right. Okay, we would like to ask you a question, Honourable Commissioner for Information, just before we welcome callers. Now, this Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025, how has the Ministry of Information been communicating the provisions of the law in the Anambra?
A nice question. Thank you for that. We have been on top of it. What we are doing here today is part of that. And we have taken the message of the desire of the state government to restore total security to Anambra State, to everywhere. Both the mainstream media, TV, radio, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the print media, and more importantly, the social media. I think the message is out there. There is always a room for improvement. And we have been soliciting support for full implementation of that law, support for the operational modalities put out there, the Agune Chamber and Operation Udogachi, that for them to really succeed, they need a maximum cooperation of the Anambra society. And so far, so good. The little research the ministry has done on the reception of both Operation Udogachi and Aguna Chamber. Was, you know, the result is very heartwarming. The Anambra, overwhelming majority of the Anambra received both the new law and the structures it has put in place, and the Operation Udogachi as the main, what you may call a strike force that will drive all the actions of government to achieve total security. And we keep telling the people that this is a dawn of a new era. It's different from what you have often had in the past. Apart from the law, the Anambra State Homeland Security Law 2025, which was signed into force by the governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, on the 18th of January. Apart from that law establishing very clear operational and legal framework for what should be done by the new security outfit, the Operation Udogachi itself, I said, it's not a task force, it's a strike force, and it's not a single security agency strike force. Is hybrid in the sense that the 6 leading security agencies are contributing members or forces or troops to the operation itself. The modern security agency, which is the police, obviously driving the process. Our own Agune Chamber, which is the new name given to our vigilante by the new law. And of course, the military, particularly the Army, the Air Force, the DSS, and the Civil Defense. And of course, the cooperation of the town unions. The Attorney General told us a while ago that you have, at the community level, 2 structures, one for management and finance, and the other for operations, headed by the President General. And all that is to enable top-bottom and bottom-up, working together. What that means is that from the state level to local government to the community levels, all of them are working together. And to make sure that this is fully effective, we brought in technology. Full technology. We have a command and control center driven by artificial intelligence. What that means is that major parts of Anambra State, the 21 local government areas are wired, connected by CCTV cameras and other forms of technology like walkie-talkie, radio systems, and all that. It means that Anambra is being watched from a control center. We don't need to know where the control center is. Even if I know, I will not tell you. It's not security wise. So in a nutshell, the ministry is helping to drive the process, trying to bridge the gap and explain to the public what the law is about, what the operation is about, what Aguna Chamber is out there doing. We notice that so much misinformation and disinformation is out there trying to confuse the people, even demonize the new law and tar with a black brush the operation and the Aguna Chamber. It's a challenge which we have taken up. We are bridging the gap so that the people who are out there in the field doing the work will be well received by the communities. And so far, they are well received. I must say there are a few problems we have noticed, which we have been trying to correct. And it will be important if ABS repeatedly, talks about it. I saw, for example, a town crier, I think in Enobi. He tried to talk about the duties imposed on the landlords on individuals on towns and so on and so forth. And there he brought in the issue of wearing dreadlocks or sagging your trousers. The new law does not in any way criminalize dreadlocks. It does not. We may not encourage it, but we cannot say that that is what the law said. It's very important. The law does not criminalize sagging or dreadlocks. This is important so that some innocent citizens are not put in harm's way. This is one. Then it's also important. We notice that a lot of people are using the little opportunity to make money, to fleece. I know I received the complaints that some towns are charging as much as 5,000 naira for form to register your tenants, or to register if you are a native doctor, and all this. There is no such provisions for all this. Yes, it is administrative, but we have to be reasonable about this. I got a complaint from Umpo, for example, that they are charging, to register the tenant, they are charging both the man, the husband, and the wife. What is that? You get the point. What is that? I got a complaint that a place like Nebo, they are charging as much as 5,000. This is not reasonable. For a form you print and photocopy and give to people, is the 5,000. This is not supposed to be a revenue generating process for towns. So the President General, I'm using the opportunity this unique opportunity to call on all of you to look into what is going on. I already told you the law does not criminalize dreadlocks. It's fashion to some. What we really worry about is, the law is going after some specific crime enablers, like drug dealers, ritualists. The law is very clear on this. So the wearing of dreadlock does not automatically translate to criminality, does it? It doesn't make sense to say that the law criminalizes dreadlocks. So you are in the bunk where they are selling hard drugs, whether you're taking the hard drugs or not, but you are in such a bunk, if they raid the place and they catch you, you will have to. Ndị Igbo na-asị gị bụ eze ka ude na-ekwu echi gị ọzọ. Ụkpana okpokogbu ntechi ya. Kọrọ agodu m etu a.
All right, we have comments on Facebook. Noyalo Maureen Peter says, kudos to the Honorable Commissioner for Information. Anambra must be bettered by grace of God. Onyeka Azen says, the Honorable Commissioner for Justice knows our onions. Okay, just to remind you that today our focus is on the Anambra Homeland Security Law 2025. We want to look at its provisions of the law, and we're here with the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, and of course we're also here with the Commissioner for Information, and a lot of persons have been calling, so it's time for you to contribute to the conversation this afternoon. And you can also join the live stream on Facebook at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Well, call the studio lines and make your comments and reactions on 0706 538 1320. 0706 538 1320.
Mobile na 0904 956 0826 0904 956 0826.
Hello.
Turn down the volume of a radio set.
Yeah, I'm Vincent. It's Mundriabo.
Ganiru no.
Ana make ne soludo. Tukini. Imagine Melundinka. And the Tandina Naza Natona. If we are not doing up on they are Rolla. It's a window. Make a near. Yagi Sake. Or Adelianama. Nagan Niru. Thank you.
Very much.
Hello. Okay, we have to go.
Hello.
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 Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can I find a bisabo? Or the corner of Navia?
So,
Malo knows on. All the man we can buy na 0904 956 0826. Hello.
Because number. Number now. I want eventually coming here career naga.
You call them in the morning. Yeah.
I want me to Ogara. I want eventually can leak here.
All right. Okay, we'll ensure that they get in touch with you.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Network.
All right, you can join the conversation on Facebook. If network is an issue, well, go to Facebook and join the conversation and make your own comments. We're going to be reading them out here.
Hello. Hello.
Hello? All right, so we're moving on. Well, you can still have your time with somebody else. Well, you still have your time to call in, but we are moving on. I will come back to you, Prof. All right, so we're still talking about the Anambra Homeland Security Law. So what we'd like to know is, how does the law ensure the proper training and capacity building for the personnel within the Homeland Security outfits?
Yeah, if you had listened to me earlier, I did mention that we, at the state level, you have a committee at the state level that is in charge of monitoring what happens at the state level in terms of capacity building of the Agune Chamber security outfit members.
Okay.
I think if you look at section 4, makes provision for that. Their remuneration, what have you, their training. And just yesterday, I visited the Commissioner of Police, the new Commissioner of Police, and to have an interactive session with him. And we are of the view that there is need for an orientation, the state government to come up with an orientation program for the Agune Chamber security outfit members, for them to know what is expected of them. You know, it's already provided for in the law, but then we need to have orientation where we will tell them their limits. When you arrest, you take the criminal you've arrested, the suspect, to the police for thorough investigation. You don't take the law into your own hands as to beat or to maim or to kill, you know. So they need proper orientation to know the limits. They are helping, they are assisting the police to ensure that there is a law and order in the society and protection of lives and property. The same thing is replicated at the local government level, where these people are monitored, they are trained, and at the community level, you have the committee at the community level that ensures and supervises and monitors the activities of these Agune Chamber security outfits.
Okay.
All right. So, Prof, now, there are some questions, a lot of people have raised questions from some quarters with regards to the fundamental human rights. So they want to know where this law draws the line between the protection of the rights of some, of the rights of people, and some of the provisions of the law. Because if you've been following up with the news, you will see that a lot of people have been making criticisms, a lot of people are making commendations, but the underlying thing in all the things they're saying is they're making a case for the protection of the rights of individuals while still adhering to the provisions of the law. So what does the law state? Where does the law bridge a gap between protection of human rights and carrying out the responsibilities of the security outfits?
Yes, the law actually took into cognizance the rights of the citizens of Anambra State while making this law. For instance, Section 18, people have been a subject matter of criticism by various quarters.
Section 18 of the law?
Unfortunate. Yes, Section 18 of the security, Homeland Security Law.
What does it say?
Yeah, it provides that if you are Okite, practitioner, or Ezewine, or what a practitioner, and you prepare charm for somebody for the purpose of assisting them in commissioning of a crime, or they will go for crime, nobody will catch them, the gun will not penetrate, they will go and come back safely. That is the target of the law. The law is not targeting although if you kid a person and you propagate the accumulation of wealth through a means that is unknown to us, then it's a crime. The law is targeting these Okite people and the Okite people and there's a wine that facilitate or assist them in commission of crimes. That is, you tell them, you prepare charm for them to go on and commit crime, to go for kidnapping, and nothing will happen. Then the long arms of the law will come for you, will catch you. If you are practicing it without any linkage with commission of crime, then the state has no problem with you. Or you come out, you as a one, you kid a practitioner, you say that you have the power to make somebody rich through means we don't know, or not supernatural means, then that is, we know that you need to, both are known, we have the core value of hard work. We are not for being hardworking people in Anambra State. Anambrans are known for hard work. So we're in a situation whereby you make promises that you make a charm, you do this, that you get money through supernatural means, then we don't want that in Anambra State.
Okay.
Especially when it's linked to commission of crime.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Then the other thing too is not targeted against only traditional worshippers. Even religious, if religious are a place of worship is used for the purpose of commission of crime, then the long hands is the same the same sentencing. I think 6 years in 6 years or 20 million.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Or 20
Fine.
million.
Yes.
All right. Anthony, before you come in. Okay, so Prof, so what you're saying clearly, because the argument is, this is the argument. The argument is that the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria guarantees a freedom of worship and a freedom of association. So what you're saying is that Anambra Homeland Security Law is not saying that you do not have the right to practice a religion you choose. Rather, what it is saying is, if you're using your religion to commit crime, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Okay. If you practice it in the right way, without propagating the commission of a crime, then you won't have any problem with the long hands of the law.
Okay.
Yes,
I think that's
clear. Or if you prepare rituals with human parts, that
encouraging
is 45
people
years.
to commit crime.
No, you prepare charm for somebody with human parts.
Oh, okay.
That is section 20 of the law.
Okay.
It's a crime, and the penalty there is, the punishment there is 25 years imprisonment without the option of fine.
Well, I think it's good you're here and you're making it clear, because that is not a word on the streets.
No, that is the problem. We have the law. If you endeavor, can come to the Ministry of Justice or go to the House of Assembly. Very soon, we hope to make sure that all our laws go online.
Yeah.
So that we can now, very soon, before the end of March, I will hope, by God's grace, one of our achievements, all our laws will be reviewed and posted online. So that you have easy access to law, because you know ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Exactly. So
we want, Mr. Governor wants everybody to be law conscious. You should be conscious of the law, because when you commit a crime, as we say, I don't know it's a crime. It's not a defense.
Okay. Actually, maybe High Chief Dr. Lome Fono, because I will something. Actually, Kamalka ministries when I'm within no medical kind of mistaken identity, because someone will trended video. Galavira and Amaram Bendi Malijiwe Ube only the guilty or not guilty of something like that. So, but the actual thing about open only case way may something in the mad back precise, let's say kind of somebody Ebulum or somebody Angudo, the madness no nya or something like that. Kedi couldn't see when abata in a binding fair metal the issue.
I know with all sorts of complaints.
Okay.
And each time there is an apprehension, you will always find some voices trying to sort of exonerate the individual. Many cases like that. Yes, we agree that there is presumption of innocence until one's guilt is proved. Okay. And that's, of course, what the Honourable Attorney General was also saying, that you arrest and subject the individual to thorough investigation. And we preach the same thing in the information we pass across to people. And what we also try to do before we form an opinion or take a position on each case, we try to liaise with the operatives of Operation Udogachi and Agune Chamber to learn precisely what happened, what precisely happened. There are cases like the case of Oba Hotel and some deaths in Owerri Izukala. They provoked a lot of controversy, needless controversy. Yes. And one other thing we have tried to do is to embed some of our journalists, even some drawn from this ABS. We want to embed them in the operation itself, okay, so that anytime they are going for major operations like demolition of properties used in committing particularly kidnapping, we want to be there before the demolition. We want to see the houses before they are demolished. We want to see the evidence. We don't want to be told. We want to see the evidence and record the evidence ourselves. Because secondary information is still not reliable, because the individual may not tell you precisely what happened. Exactly. What they will try to do is to justify what they have done. For example, I am against the shooting of an unarmed individual, no matter where he is found, because he poses no threat. Yes, why don't you arrest him? I don't think the goal is to kill everybody you see on sight. They never had the governor give such order, shoot at sight. No. He, in fact, is even offering olive branches, saying, come out. You will be rehabilitated. You'll be given a skill or two, giving funds to pursue honest living and your happiness. That is not the same thing as a shoot at sight, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that your question is very germane. We are making efforts to secure a place for people like you. Carry our camera, you go there before, in fact, you see the operation in action. You see it in practice, and pick from the news perspective the information you need as a way of preempting the questions that will be raised by observers out there tomorrow. Because even up to yesterday, I am still getting queries to account for what happened in Owerri Izukala. How to call the PG, how to call even the man they said that the boys went to work for. To be able to lay my hands on what I could call the authentic information on what exactly transpired. But I know that if we were on ground before that took place, we would be in a better position to answer questions when they come. However, for me, overall, Agune Chamber and Operation Udogachi, they have performed creditably well. Yes, rooms for improvements and so on and so forth. We can only ask for, how do I put it now? The way the Attorney General put it, to follow the law, right? Know the limits of your powers. Do you understand that? So that Agune Chamber does not assume that it is now Anambra Police. It is not, because there is no state police yet. So some of these things are very, very important. And I also would want to use this opportunity to, bring in the issue that was that became also important to the last State Executive Council meeting, and the Attorney General mentioned, touched on it also. The new law, does not in any way abrogate or ban traditional worship. This point is very important.
Yeah, because
It does
it's
not.
causing a lot of
It does
problems.
not. The target of the law is in plain sight. The law is saying if you're using traditional worship or even the normal conventional religion to commit crime, you will pay for it. For example, when you talk about Okite, Okite is not Igbo culture. It's not Igbo traditional religion. I really don't know where that is coming from. Oguego, that is not us.
I believe in working hard.
I went to one market in this Anambra. I wouldn't want to mention the town on air here, but I will later tell you off air the town so that you can go and investigate in Anambra where the items used in the manufacture or concoction of all these charms are sold. I have seen where they sell ulentite. Do you know what that means? You will see the items you use in the making of some of these things. Okwalanta, right? Ekoafo. These things are sold now in the open market, and you want a responsible and responsive government to keep quiet? In fact, those who are selling this, very soon we will come for them. We will come to the market because they are part of the people. They are part of the enablers of crime.
Yes.
Very violent crime. You see, how if right from time growing up, our parents were against Ifana or Ajogu. I just give instances.
Yes.
Ndị na manufacture Ifa inye mmadụ Okwalanta, inye mmadụ Ekoafọ, inye mmadụ ulentite. Many more of that. They are sold in the open market now. It has to be taken up and dealt with. That is the issue here. So the law is not targeting in any way traditional worship or traditional medicine or native doctors. Please, if you are a native doctor and you are even SNY and you are genuine, please show up. Let us get your address. We want to verify what you are doing. We want to know the kind of Ogwin. I need, yes, the government also recognizes what we call alternative medicine. Alternative medicine, Dibia Ogu, traditional pharmacists. They were the people that identified certain herbs, certain barks, certain leaves. All these things, they know that their combination can be curative. That is a gift. That is Igbo traditional religion. That is traditional worship. But this is not Igbo religion. It is not us. People like that must be weeded out of our society. That is what the law is saying. And I thank God that Anambra society is receiving this new law, receiving Operation Udogachi. Nde otu Operation Udogachi. Obnuru na anu onum. I say jide kunuji. Do more until you rid Anambra State of crime of any kind.
Criminal elements.
You know, that is the purpose of the law. And it's a war we can't afford to lose.
No.
We cannot.
Already winning.
And we're already winning.
All right, Prof, tell me first, spend your last message to the Anambra with regards to, obeying the law and sticking to the provisions of the Anambra Homeland Security Law. In 30 seconds, we don't have time. Go.
Yeah, it's really my pleasure coming here, and I'll encourage my fellow Anambrarians to take a look at the law. Don't rely on hearsay evidence. Somebody was told that this law makes this provision. Endeavor to have a copy of the law. If you don't know where to get it, come to the Ministry of Justice. I will get a copy for you. Read through, especially sections 18 and 19 of the law. The law is not discriminatory. We know you have your right to freedom of religion, and the law has not infringed upon it. All we are saying is that we don't want anybody to use either the traditional means of worship or the religious means of worship to encourage or exacerbate criminality in the state. We don't want it in any form. Igbos are known, we have our core values which are being eroded I will not allow it to go on like that. The law is here to sanitize the system. You need to take a look at the law before you start criticizing the law. There's nothing in the law that infringes on anybody's right to freedom of religion.
All right. We'd like to thank you, Professor Sylvia Ifemeje, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Anambra State. We want to thank you for coming to the program today. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much.
All the minor can so High Chief Dr. Law Mefo, and I can also preach Makaisuna, Commissioner of Makos in Anambra State. Makino was Nabu here, Mebunko, young, and I said,
Dalo, say something. Say something. Call 5111. That is 5311. And if you earn something, if we use the intel you give us to crack any crime, particularly kidnapping, you earn 5 million naira or more. And let me also add, the information you give us will be treated with utmost confidentiality.
Okay.
It will be secretly processed. Your identity will never be known to anybody else.
All right, well, the Anambra, you've heard it, and just like the Commissioner for Justice and the Commissioner for Information have stated, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So let's try and support the state government and ensure that the security of the state is protected and everyone feels safe. All right, just to remind you that the program Ask the Commissioner makes a return next week, Thursday. I am Priska Wanko. And remember, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so show some love.
Yeah, you're right.